welcome back to Ironside Ranch. We're inside today, starting to get a little cool outside, and I got sent this message the other day from a guy that I don't necessarily want to call him a friend. Let's call him a business associate. Anyways, he sent me this thing regarding the water, and they apparently are building a house, or have just recently built a house in Talladega County, and they went to connect it to the county water system. And when they applied for their connection, right, everybody kind of thinks this is a given, right? You apply for your connection as long as you're in a service area. It's not something we ever think about. And they were in a service area. But what ended up happening is they got a rejection letter from the water supply company. And the water supply corporation said that they are a small water company, and that at this time they are not taking on new customers. Now, that's kind of funny in and of itself, because it's like we don't ever think about, we think about water shortages periodically, especially as kind of homesteaders, stuff like that. We think about water shortages periodically. And we think about, okay, there's certain areas, we all know that there's areas like way out in the municipalities and the counties that you may apply for water and they don't have water service to that area because there's just not enough houses there, not enough justification for it. But in this case, this is an area that's serviced by water. Their neighbors are all serviced by the county water, but they can't get serviced by county water simply because the water company is not taking on new customers. This is also really interesting that because they're way out in the county, so there's very little building authority out there. But I'm not even sure something like this, if this happened in a more urban area, I'm not sure that this would have been, how this would have worked out, because the city inspectors and stuff, they're checking to make sure everything's installed correctly. They're not necessarily basing the CO on the fact that you have running water from the municipality. And sometimes, your certificate of occupancy may be issued even before then. So this is a really interesting issue that came up, and I don't know if this is a one-off issue, but it seems slightly interesting because we have so many other issues regarding our food and our water supply around the country, that this is a little bit intriguing, anyways, at the very minimum. So you look into this a little bit more, and the letter goes on to say that the municipal water supply will allow them to get on a wait list. I'm sorry, you hear my dogs going by. Will allow them to get on a wait list, and this wait list, they are saying, is going to be several years plural, before they're accepting new customers. So apparently in all of Talladega County in Alabama, they're not accepting new customers, and they're for the county water supply, not for this municipality. Municipalities being a different setup. So if you're, this person now, I guess, is having to build a well or get some type of different system in there, most likely a well, I would assume. But sorry, I got bug bites all over me, guys. Most likely going to get a well, but it just made me realize how important it is to be self-sufficient on your water, and to make sure that you have control of it. And recently just wrote an article for a magazine. It should be getting published here in November. I was actually, I shouldn't say recently wrote the article. I've been working on it today. I finished it today, and I got a dog at the door. Guys, living on a farm, we have stray dogs that come up all the time, so we always have dogs here. We have 4 right now. We're trying to find a home for one of them. The 2 of them are kind of old, so they won't be with us long. One of them I need to find a home for. It's a little miniature Doberman, like 40 pounds. Nice dog, just don't want 4 dogs. Anyways, so this guy, this all brings back to making sure that you have some sustainability of your water. And what I was saying about this article that I wrote is that what I was talking about in this article is actually winter heat, and that we need to be reliant on ourselves for winter heat, which is why I like wood as opposed to natural gas, propane, even because propane is great, you can store it up, but eventually you're reliant on somebody else. And then the same thing with something like a wood pellet stove. Even those, you're relying on somebody else, and so I'm not a huge fan of those either. As you want to talk about stuff like that for a secondary heat system, you want to put it up on your upper floor, or you want to put it out in your shop or something like that. where it's not so paramount to your survival that you have it, that's fine. That's a different story. But I even have a friend of mine. He on his house there, he's all solar, and he's like, why would I get a wood stove when I can be solar and I have an electric heat pump, and then I don't have to pay anything for my electricity, I don't have to do anything for it. It's like, yeah, but your cost of entry for one was outrageous to be able to run that much electricity, and then two, which you'll never get back in a lifetime. But two, if any of those components break, you're up a creek, because you've got to have somebody that can repair them. You've got to have a place of getting that equipment, and some of those are really complex machines, and you may not be able to buy parts for it. So the same principle applies to our water, right? We want our water source to be something that, for as much as we can control, right? We can't control if our well goes dry. We can't control if we have enough rainwater. There's things that we can't control. But with as much as we can put within our capabilities to control, we want to do that. And so this is why I like things like this. You got this water filter here. This is for just our drinking water. And then we have a filtration system. Y'all have seen that on our actual well, but we use this for all of our drinking water. But anyways, this is all I wanted to go over with you guys, is just the importance of making sure that your water supply, that you have a water supply. If you're in a subdivision, we talked about, I don't have a ton of advice for you other than, store up some water, install rain catchment systems to help, whatever you can do. Those are, even the 55-gallon rain barrels you put underneath your gutters. Hell, if everything goes to hell in a handbasket, at least you've got 55 gallons there. So those are options. So I want you guys to just consider that. Consider, hey, how am I going to get water? Now, if you've got a small farm or hobby farm or farmstead or homestead or whatever, you've got more water issues to deal with than you would if you were living in a subdivision. So it's a give and take, right? We can fix a lot of our own water issues, but the water issues that we have are much more important. We got to be able to irrigate and water livestock, and we got to make sure if that well pump goes down that we can get a backup or another one up and running really quickly. So I'm actually fixing to get a spare well pump to try to put out in my well house and just leave out there for when mine goes down, but that's a hefty expense. So I may have a lineup on a cheap one though. So fingers crossed. Anyways, guys, I will let y'all go. I really appreciate y'all watching. Make sure and like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. We'll catch y'all later.